Yes, I had no idea how many people were going to be bringing machines with them. I thought it was going to be a few more. I've got actually a Surface tablet that I'll be handing around in a little bit, so everyone can give that a try. And you can try using the internet on there. I believe I have it connected for us. So today we're talking about the new office. If you came to this class today under the expectation that you're going to get full, in-depth, how-to, step-by-step for everything, it's not the case. So if that's what you're looking for, you're going to be a little disappointed. I'm going to show off the basics of how to do a lot of the things that I feel are most important to the new version of Office. But I put a lot of links on the back side of the agenda for you to be able to go to, including free quick start guides that Microsoft's offering, websites, other resources, Microsoft's official YouTube channel for Office, all kinds of great stuff. There's no way I'd be able to fill 2 hours and show you everything step by step that's in here. So this is going to be more of a show and tell today. I'm going to show off some neat things. We're going to have a little bit of interaction, hopefully, with our laptop user that's here. And I'm going to show you how you can leverage some of the things that New Office has. So when you go home, you can rewatch the class and try it on your own machine if you want to. Or if you don't have the New Office yet, you wait till you get it, then you can rewatch it. And again, I put a lot of the resources on the back so you can find some of this information for yourself. If there's something you're really interested in, you can't find information about, you can always contact us. I'm always accessible after classes. You can email me and I'll link you exactly to a how-to or a video showing you how to do something. We're fairly open in that regard. Right. Okay. So Ruth did a pretty good job introducing us. The short of it, yes, we are a technology consulting company. We started off just by doing basic computer repair in the area, and we slowly got into doing commercial work, and we do a lot of work with education. We just finished doing a lot of training with CPS on their move to Google Apps. So we are all over the board. But we happen to do a lot of these classes here for free at the library because we like to give back to the local community. I've always had a strong sense of volunteering and returning, some of the fruits of our labor here in the local area. We are based right out of Park Ridge, so if you do need assistance, we're right around the corner. We're just over by the Pickwick Theater building. In terms of who's here today, myself, obviously, I'm the owner of the company. And I do a lot of the on-site and off-site repair and consulting and things for organizations in the area. Not as much of the residential work anymore, but we have a full staff of people that do help us with that today. Lindsay Jablanovec is here as well. She's our administrative assistant. She actually she puts on one of the classes that we do here on Podio. So we redid that class a few weeks ago. We're going to be redoing that. It's a cloud software tool. I'm not going to get into the specifics of everything it does because it's so many different things to so many different people. But if you're interested in that, you can definitely come out and join us. Everyone should have an agenda with them in front of them. If you don't, feel free to ask me and we'll get you one from the side table. It's a lengthy agenda. There's a lot of stuff I want to cover before we leave today. I sort of see this class as being broken up into three, not so distinct sections, but I'm going to go over some of the basics about the new Office because there's a lot of confusion out there because Microsoft's marketing department is not the smartest in the world and they tend to confuse people more than anything. So I want to put everyone on the right baseline so you know what is on the market right now, what can you get for your computer, because some people are confused as to what you buy in the stores, as to what you subscribe to online, and it's understandable because they didn't do a good job explaining it. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do their job today and help you figure that out before you leave today. I'm going to do a little bit on some of the core apps, and again, you might use something different from Office, but a majority of people that we work with are using Word, Excel, and then we're also going to do a little bit on PowerPoint. If you're looking for stuff on Outlook or Publisher or OneNote, I apologize, I couldn't fit it all into this class session, but I will show you some neat things that you can probably take away from the new Word, Excel, PowerPoint programs. And then the third portion of this class is what I'm calling the the cloud portion of the class because the new office is very heavy with cloud capability. So, we used to think of working on office files as things we just save in our computer, and that notion has been expanded quite a bit with the new release of Office 2013 because the way Microsoft is leveraging SkyDrive, and I'll go into what SkyDrive is, the way that you can really work on files on your machine and go into a public library, work on them on a public computer, go to your friend's house and work on the same files. It's all possible now. We didn't used to be able to do that because they had to have Office installed. You had to have your files with you. But now Microsoft is doing a great job with giving us access to everything we want anywhere we go. On our smartphones, on our tablets. I'll pass this little puppy around in just a little bit. So everywhere accessibility is really a thing that is possible now. And I'm going to go over a lot of those aspects, starting with SkyDrive. And I'm not going to step on Ruth's toes too much. I know you do a class on SkyDrive here as well. So she can show you the full in-depth on that. But we'll go over some of the basics so you can at least start using it at home and give it a feel for what you'd be able to do with it. Because I really think the cloud aspect of the new Office is the biggest thing that has happened to desktop productivity. We're no longer working in silos. We are working with others together with files that we can share out with one another. And I'm going to show you how that sharing aspect works. It's so easy to use. I'd be shocked if you weren't able to leave here today and try it on your own and start utilizing it for your own needs. And then we'll do a little bit of Q&A at the end. I'm mixing in a little bit of live Q&A with our laptop user is going to help us test this out. So hopefully, are we able to get online by chance? Everything's working online? Okay. All right, then I'll give you the link that we'll go to so we can show off some of that cloud functionality in just a little bit. So here it is. Our laptop user, if you may help us with this, go to the following link for me. And Lindsay, if you can go to this link as well. It's just tinyurl.com/Niles. I also put it on the front of the agenda. And what you should get when you get there is something similar to this. And you tell me if it's showing up properly. Does it look like that for you?
It does.
Okay. So I was pinning my hopes on a few more people having computers with them today, but no big deal. One person's more than enough to help us out. If you can get one, that'd be great. We also have a tablet user over here, so that's great. That's okay. So this is actually an Excel document on steroids. This is an Excel survey. I'm using a function of SkyDrive in the new Office. It's all part of the same beast now. And this is a survey that I published. It's called an Excel survey. But I'm actually collecting questions on the fly. So I was hoping a few more people would have computers so you could post your questions or anything that you were curious about into this document as we're going along today. You can keep this document up, put your questions in there, and it's going to get dumped into an Excel file that I have access to on my computer. I'm going to go into my SkyDrive folder here and into my Office class. And that file that you're accessing online is actually this Excel file that also sits on my computer right now. So I am pulling, see up here how it says question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is where we're going to populate and pull in those questions that are coming in from everyone that may have a device with them here today. So this is just one of the neat things that you can do. If you've ever used Google Docs in the past, we've been able to use Google Forms and collect information like this, but we've never been able to use Office to collect information on the fly from anyone in the world and populate an Excel spreadsheet like this with responses or survey answers, or if you're trying to plan a family reunion, you're trying to find out who's coming, the possibilities are endless with this technology. So I'm going to go over that in the second half or the third part of the class today. But like I said, if you do, please go to the link. It'll look like this. All you have to do is pop your questions in. If you have more than 5, you can go ahead and submit it, and then just go back to the page and you can enter more. So there's no limit to how many questions you can post. And at the end of the class, I hope to address some of the things that people popped into this form for us as we go along. So please feel free. And if you don't have a computer that you can use to do this, again, just write your questions down right on here, or ask me as we're going along. I'll do my best to address everyone's concerns here or there. If it's something longer or more personal, wait till the end, and I'll try to help you one-on-one when we finish up.
Derrick, this is
Yes.
a product that's only available though through 2013. It was never offered in 2010, right?
The survey functionality, actually, you can use it even if you don't have any version of Office. You can use it just with a free SkyDrive account, and I'll go over that.
Okay.
Yeah, so that functionality is built into more of the web aspect of the SkyDrive ecosystem, and this example of what I was showing you just right now, this collection functionality, that's totally free. You don't need any version of Office to do that. The only time you need Office is if you want to work in that Excel file on the fly, you want to work with Word files. I'll show you how the Word aspect looks. You can do OneNote. You can also do PowerPoint online. PowerPoint's really cool as well. I'm going to try to see if I can work on a document together with Lindsay in a little bit to show you how that works. Okay? But again, this is really neat stuff because, in the past, how did we used to work with other people? Okay, work on the document, email it to me, I'll work on it, email it back, or give me your thumb drive and I'll fix it. That's really becoming a thing of the past. The new Office is really allowing us to break down those barriers and, do these kind of things that were impossible before. Just a quick note on some of our upcoming classes that we have coming up. I should have put this slide in a little bit earlier, but I unfortunately did not. We got a lot of neat classes coming up a little bit later on in the year. Actually, from August all the way through late November, we're going to be redoing our Android tablets class for beginners. So if you're thinking about getting an Android tablet or you have one, you don't know how to use it, we'll be doing a full hands-on demonstration where you can follow along with us to learn how to use that kind of device. And an Android tablet, for those that don't know, is the iPad alternative that tends to be a little bit cheaper, but there's a lot more variety, a lot more options out there for what you can purchase. We're going to be doing, as I said, the Podio class. Podio is like a Excel on steroids with a little bit of Facebook, with CRM, with data collection. It does a lot of different things, and we use it heavily at our company. I use it personally. I'm writing an ebook right now, and I do a lot of technical blogging online, and I use it to organize my thoughts and ideas. So Lindsay's actually going to be leading that class to show everyone how you can get started. It's a totally free product if you're just using it personally. You can use it at your organization, your business, up to 5 people. After that, of course, you got to pay. But it's very relatively low priced and very affordable. We got 2 neat classes coming up on Google Apps. We've spent the last year and a half between Niles and Parkridge Library doing classes on how to use Google Docs, how to use Google Calendar, how to use Gmail. We're actually going to take those concepts and we're going to apply them to, okay, what exactly can I do to leverage them in my personal life and my business life? So we got one class focused on people that want to use it in the family for personal matters, and we've got one class focused at business professionals that want to use it for their small business or at your larger workplace, whatever it may be. We're going to show you, the different ways we use Google Apps, the different ways I've seen customers use it, and we're going to sort of mold it all into one and give you a neat show and tell demonstration for lots of different neat ways to leverage that technology. And then our last class of the year is going to be, as far as I know right now, as we're going to do right before Thanksgiving, is going to be on the new version of Windows 8 that's coming out. It's a point release called Windows 8.1. We've done, I think, 2 or 3 Windows 8 classes in the last 8 months, and they have been complete sellouts every single time. So a lot of people want to learn about that. It's a very different experience. I've got the Surface tablet, which I'll hand around, which replicates a lot of what Windows 8 has to offer. So it is very shockingly new to a lot of people, and a lot of people are fearful of it, but once you jump into it, once you get the hang of it, it's fairly easy to pick up. It's a very easy flowing system that uses gestures and touch, and you can still use your keyboard and mouse if you really want to. I'm running Windows 8 on my laptop right now. I've been running it since October. It's a great operating system as far as I'm concerned. Yes?
Is that the one that you mentioned here, the Surface?
Yes, this is the Surface RT, and I will hand that around so you can take a look at it yourself in just a little bit. Since we're on the topic of Office and Windows, I'm just going to take a brief moment to let everyone know we've been sending out a letter to all of our customers telling everyone that next April the old Windows XP and the old Office 2003 are becoming extinct. So if you still have those on your systems, you want to think about upgrading sometime before April, because if you're still running those old pieces of software, and just to give you an idea, Windows XP is hitting its 12th birthday already. It's a long time in computer time. So if you're running a Windows XP system at home, you really need to think about moving on up to a newer version, because Microsoft will not be releasing any security updates after April of next year. So it becomes a really dire situation, much more so for business customers, but we've been telling our residential customers the same thing. You don't want to open yourself up to any more virus risks than you have to. Okay, so the new Office, what exactly is it? Microsoft's been out there pumping the drum, of course, trying to get everyone's hands on the new Office. I think it's a great release, but they don't do a good job describing all the ways that you can leverage it and how it could potentially help you. And this is something that Apple's good at and Microsoft's just starting to get on the bus for. So when we think about the new Office, it is everything that we know Office is. So it's regular Office, traditional Office that we install on our computer and you can use locally, but it also has a lot of aspects tied to the internet. Just like I was showing you with that web document, it's just a sliver of what you can do with the web functionality of giving access to others or giving yourself access no matter where you are in the world, as long as you have internet. And this is something that Microsoft fought against for the longest time, but they've really opened up to it and are now really I'd say one of the leaders in this area of giving us this cloud functionality and this cloud accessibility. If you're fearful of it and you don't like the aspect of My Files on the internet, you don't have to use it. I'm not telling you that what I'm showing here today are just the possibilities of what you can do. You're not forced to do any of it. If you want to buy Office and use it like you used to, back in the 90s, early 2000s, work on your Word document, save it to your computer, and it stays there, it doesn't touch anything else. You're free to do that. But there's a lot more that you can do now, and that's some of the neat aspects that I want to show off today for us. So if you're interested in just getting the boxed edition of Office the way that we always used to, going back to the first computer you may have purchased, there's 3 options for you. You have the lowest edition, the Home and Student, which includes just the Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and OneNote. Move up to the Home and Business Edition, and then their very expensive Professional Edition, which most people do not purchase because it's so darn expensive. So you have 3 options. You can go to the store. One of the biggest things you should know is that when you buy it in the store now, Microsoft does not give you a disk any longer to install it. So you're actually installing it from the internet. You're going to be pulling it down from their website. So don't look for a disk when you open the box, because there's not going to be a disk in there. I haven't seen one come out to any store shelves yet. So what you're buying is just the license code to be able to install that software for yourself. Big question a lot of people have. Where's the disk? I bought it. They must have forgotten to print me the disk. It's not a mistake. It's how they're doing it now. A lot of companies are doing it this way. There's a lot of waste, a lot of money wasted on CD printing. And to be honest, with how fast the internet is today, for the most part, we really don't need it. I've been installing the new Office on customer machines for the last 4 or 5 months or so. And it's been done, even on a decent internet connection, it's been done probably in about 10-15 minutes. So it's just as fast as installing a disk-based version of Office. I don't know what technology they're using to pull that information so quickly, but it works. But now we have a new realm. We have a subscription-based model that you can do as well. And I'm sorry if I sound like a salesman when I'm talking about this, but I just want to let everyone know about what this is, because you're probably going to hear about it more and more. And to be honest, I don't think regular box copies of Office are going to exist in the store 5, 6, 7 years from now. So we're probably seeing the end of boxes in the store for software, at least from Microsoft's side, as we know it, because they're moving more towards a subscription-based model. A lot of people ask me, is it worth to get or not, or why should I be paying for a yearly basis or something I can buy just once? Well, that's something I ask myself as well, because I don't like subscriptions. I don't like paying every single year for something I could just purchase one time. But I took a look at it. I ran the numbers as I was setting up my preparation for this class, and it is actually a pretty darn good deal. As opposed to purchasing, say, for example, a copy of Home and Student for every single machine in your home for $140 each, Microsoft's telling you, okay, let's have you subscribe to Office on a yearly basis, $100 a year, and you get the ability to install up to 5 computers in your home. And not the Home and Student edition, not the lowest edition. You get the Professional edition with all the programs of the suite. Up to 5 computers in your home. That's a $2,000 value right there. Professional edition is almost $500, I believe. You get 20 gigabytes worth of space on your SkyDrive account, and I'll show off SkyDrive and what that is in just a little bit. They give you free Skype calling minutes every month. That's about $24 in value for the year. And if you use an Xbox, you get free gold membership for that for the year. So I calculated the numbers. It comes out to about $2,100 worth of value for a $100 subscription that you're paying for. Pretty darn good. It's hard, especially if you have more than one system that you need to put Office on today. I don't see any reason why not to go with the subscription-based Office 365 home version for yourself. So if you're, run the numbers on your own, see what you think about it. But I'm starting to tell people that it is actually a pretty darn good deal. They're giving you a lot for your money, as far as I can tell. They also have an edition for businesses if you happen to run a business. I'm not going to spend any time on that. If you're interested in that, catch me after class. And then Office 365 is also available for free for schools and nonprofits of all flavors. So they are entitled to use this kind of software as well for their needs. I think one of the neatest deals that Microsoft has for the new version of Office is actually bundled in with this little neat Surface tablet that you can purchase in the store. I brought this in. This is actually not mine. This is actually a unit I'm prepping for a customer. It's a business that's planning to roll these out to all of his workers in just a few weeks. So we're testing the bugs out and seeing how they work. But these devices were previously about $500. Microsoft brought the price down to $350. So for $350, you get a laptop, a tablet with a copy of Office on it. I think that's a pretty darn good deal. And I actually want to pass this around to everyone. And if you're curious, you get Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, and they're bringing Outlook out later this year. When Windows 8.1 comes out, you're going to get a free copy of Outlook with this. So it becomes an even better deal, especially for those who work a lot with email and things like that. So I'm going to pass this around. I'm going to put it into tablet mode for everyone. Feel free to give it a try. I'm leaving it on what's called the start screen. Of course, use your finger. It's not a demo model. It's not locked into sales mode or anything. You can fully use it. Give it a try. Go between the different things. It's pretty interesting. So just be careful with it because this is a customer's. It's not actually mine. So I'll pass this around and Lindsay will pick it up when we're all done. Feel free to. And if you want to try it in laptop mode, flip the keyboard back. You can put the kickstand. There's a kickstand on the back of it.
That's cute. I like that.
So this is actually a tablet, but it's also a laptop. So you have a full keyboard that you can use for yourself and use that like a little laptop. And this thing weighs, oh my gosh, I'd probably say no more than a pound. A pound, and you get about 10 hours of battery life on the device. So it's pretty interesting. So I'll pass this around. Feel free to give it a try.
Can you say the name of that again?
It's called the Surface RT. You can get it at Best Buy, you can get it at Staples. It's $350 out the door. Well, with tax a little bit more. But.
Surface RT, that's my initials, Renee Taylor. So
you'll remember it then.
I get a discount, okay.
Under
Best
number
Buy.
2 on your
Okay.
agenda, it's E.
You just have to get
E, okay.
So you're doing a class on that, correct? You said
On this?
on the.
No, we're doing a class on Android tablets, which is the Google version of this. We're not necessarily doing that, but if you come out to our Windows 8 class towards Thanksgiving time, we're going to show off pretty much all the functionality of the interface of how this works. So even if you got this or a regular laptop with the same version of Windows 8, you'd still know how to use them both the same way. They're all the same ecosystem.
What is the benefit of buying a big laptop versus just getting the
Tablet at this point.
The only downside of this unit is that you can't install all traditional Windows programs on here. If you want to have the ability to install everything that you're used to, TurboTax or whatever other programs you use, if you don't care about that, this is perfect for you. If you do, they have a more expensive version of this that's called the Surface Pro. That's about $900. It's a little bit heavier, more expensive, but you can install everything that you're used to on regular Windows. But if you don't care about that, if all you want is Office, internet browsing, and all the apps from the marketplace, this device will suit you just fine. That's the downside.
Can you print out of that too? Can you print off of
You
that?
can print off of it with, if you set up your Google Chrome on there, and they have an option called Cloud Print, you can print off of through there. And really, if you get access to Cloud Print, you can print off anything that can be turned into a website.
Okay.
So
if you have wireless connection to your printer at home, does that then can you connect to that to print?
Not necessarily, because you can't install the printer directly on this device. So you have to do it through like Google Cloud Print or something like that.
Okay.
So yes, printing's a little bit more tricky. You don't have access to all your traditional programs. So those are two trade-offs you want to think about before doing it. But if you don't care about those, $350 and you got yourself a very neat little device. Okay, we're going to keep moving here. What's new across the board? So just in general about the new version of Office, some of the things a little more technical than others, but I do want to mention them. Before you weren't able to install native 64-bit functionality of Office or version of Office. Now you can. It's pretty much geek speak for a more secure version of Office. You can do super extra large spreadsheets. It's pretty much the power users version of Office. It goes without saying that this Office has the best file support of any version of Office. It supports pretty much everything on the market. WordPerfect, if you have any of those files, if you've used OpenOffice or LibreOffice, it supports all of those files, all of the old Office files, all the new Office files, and just new with this release, full support for opening, editing, and saving PDFs.
Really?
So people used to go out and buy Adobe Acrobat for $250 just to be able to do that. 85% of that functionality is built right into Office now. So that's a big selling point as well. And that's something I only learned once I started prepping for this class. So it's really neat. I'm actually going to show off how seamless and how nicely it works. I got a few test PDF files we're going to open up in Word, and I'll show you exactly how you can edit them and work on them. So that thing that used to be really hard to do unless you had Acrobat is no longer a problem. Office web apps, you get access to those with the new version of Office. And again, I maybe should pull that out a little bit and say, like I said earlier, with SkyDrive, if you get a free SkyDrive account, you can use Office web apps for free. You don't need to buy desktop Office. If all you care about is using the little stripped down versions of Word, Excel, PowerPoint, you get access to those right through SkyDrive, and that's completely free. And Ruth teaches a wonderful class about everything you want to know about SkyDrive. But I'll dive into a little bit about it just a tad. Integration with SkyDrive in every single Office app. So while Office 2010 had a little bit of cloud functionality where you could save to SkyDrive, it was really just a testing ground. The new Office 2013, every single app you can save directly into your SkyDrive account. So really, when I work on my Office files now, I'm not even saving them solely to my computer. I'm always saving them into my SkyDrive because it's an automatic backup to the internet. If I lost my laptop today, I really wouldn't care because I have copies of all my documents in my SkyDrive. If you use Google Drive, it's very similar to that. This is just Microsoft's version that has very close integration with Office, obviously. This is more of a Windows thing, but it's very touch-friendly. If you get a touchscreen computer or a laptop or a Surface device, it's very intuitive to use. It supports all the gestures of the programs. A lot of the buttons have been redesigned to allow you to touch the screen a lot easier as opposed to the old Office where it was kind of clunky to use with a touchscreen computer. That's a thing of the past. And the other thing is, if you go with the subscription-based Office 365, you're never out of date. The nice part about the subscription model is that, sure, when you buy the box copy, you get to keep that forever. You're never paying for it again. But what do you do 4 years, 5 years from now? You're buying a new copy anyway. With this model, you're able to get the latest version of every program on the fly as soon as it's available. No waiting, no need to go buy another copy. Microsoft gives it to you as soon as it's on the market. Okay? Alright, that's it for my my slides. I'm going to jump in and we're going to get started right away with some of the neat... Yes?
I have a question.
Sure, go ahead.
If I already have an Android tablet, say a fairly recent, like Samsung Galaxy or something like that, does the Office product work well with that, or do I buy a different version?
So, since we have Google, we have Apple, and then Microsoft obviously has their own competing products, I'll say this, we're getting there. We're not there yet. So iPad and iPhone got tastes of what Office is going to look like on their devices. Google's devices don't have any version of Office available just yet. Obviously, the Windows devices are going to have the best support, but they're getting there. I think they're going to be releasing Google versions of Office, just like they have just started to do for the iPhone and iPad. I'd probably give them about a year or so before they get that out. So it's a little bit of a waiting game, but it's going to happen. It's inevitable.
But then the best productivity would be if Office is your main guide, then to buy a Microsoft tablet.
Yes, if you're heavily reliant on Office and you really want to utilize all this neat SkyDrive functionality, you know, I can't recommend the best thing to get is probably a Windows device, a Surface device, something like that, because you're going to have the easiest time. You're not going to be having to look for alternative programs to do some of these things. If you have a Mac, Microsoft does fully support Mac for Office. So if you get 365, you get a subscription to Office 2011 for Mac, up to 5 machines as well. So it's not like you're out of the game if you have a Mac.
But you can't split that between...
You can.
Can you?
You can do, yeah. 3 Windows, 2 Macs.
We have a split home.
2 Windows, 3 Macs. Yeah, you can do it.
We have Windows and Macs at home.
I got more than a few customers that have done the split family approach, and they work just fine with the 365.
Well, sometimes there's different needs.
Yeah, sure. So it definitely does work. So if you have a Mac, don't be scared to look into it. All right. Yes, go ahead. Oh yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm running it on my laptop right now, actually. Yeah.
Okay. And the other thing, I've been looking at laptops, and I've noticed they no longer have the CD DVD drives.
Well, not entirely true. It's becoming a trend, but it's not entirely true.
Oh, okay.
If you want to make sure you get a CD DVD drive, you have to look at models that are not called the Ultrabooks. Ultrabooks, the ones that are the higher price point, like over $700, they are getting rid of the DVD drives. But if you get a laptop model, like a 15-inch laptop that's, you know, more like Ruth has here, they're still putting DVD drives in there.
I had a DVD.
Let me get her.
Yeah. Yeah. The Ultrabooks and the really small screen sizes.
I was looking at what I'm trying to get a and it said you can't.
Save it here.
Whatever it is.
No, I know for a fact you can still find DVD drive models. You might have to look a little harder.
Oh, one of the windows got closed.
If it says Ultrabook, you're not going to get DVD drive. That's a fact. So say no to Ultrabooks if you want DVD functionality. All right. All right, let me get started. So we're at about 10:45. I got a lot to cover still. So we're going to start zooming through some of this. If I move a little faster than you like on some aspects, ask me at the end to show you something specifically, or again, you can re-watch this entire video, but I've got a lot of stuff I need to cover, and I'm going to zip through some of the things that aren't as important, just to give everyone a quick taste of what these different aspects are, okay?
Okay.
So this isn't any kind of pre-hashed demo computer. This is my actual day-to-day work system that I use, so if glitches do occur or problems do occur, you know, I'm only human in this regard, and I'm using regular software, the same stuff you'd install on your own machine. So let's get started here. So we're 2013. I'm going to open up my SkyDrive folder here. And just a note on SkyDrive, I'm using it day to day actually. I have all my different classes for grad school in here. I'm saving all my files in here, and I'll show you why this is neat when I get to what I can do with that if I'm on a computer that doesn't have my regular, what I'm used to, all my programs that I'm used to. So let me go into a test document I have over here. I made a little test file for myself. Let's Let's close out of that on the side. So Office is very similar. If you've used Office since 2007, you've been introduced to the new Ribbon interface. I'm not going to talk much about Ribbon, but Ribbon is the new way that Microsoft does menus and options for different parts of Office, as opposed to the long drawn-out menus we used to have. Now we have these things called tabs that are logically divided, different aspects to what you want to do with your document depending on what program you're in. You go through the different tabs, and there are all the different things that you may want to do, from changing your text format to including footnotes and headers and all those different kinds of things. So I'm not going to teach that, but you know, the Office 2013 continues on the trend of using the ribbon interface. Okay, one of the neat things that you can do with the new Word is putting videos into your document. So this used to always be tough. I think 2010 used to support videos a little bit, but it was clunky. It was never really meant to work. But now it's super easy to do. So if I wanted to, and all the text I have here is actually from a news article I copied over about the former Egyptian president, just as some filler text. If I wanted to go ahead and introduce a video into my document, very easy to do. I can go into the Insert tab, and there is an online video option here that I can click on. And as long as the internet speed works with us, okay, there we go. So now I have an option. I can go ahead and I can pull videos from Bing Video Search, but of course most people are going to use YouTube. So if I wanted to find a video about President Morsi to go ahead and include in here, I can just do a quick search. Or if I knew an exact video that I wanted to use, I could go ahead and search for that exact title off YouTube. And, you know, look for what I'm trying to put in here. Okay, I'll use this video over here. I'll do an insert, and there we go. I can have that video right in there. If I click on it, I can have that video displayed on the fly.
من خدمة العلاج على نفقة
business
الزوج.
presentation, a school
1.5
presentation,
مليون
whatever it
أسرة
may
من
be.
معاش الضمان
Working with videos
الاجتماعي.
and documents is super easy now because ability to do YouTube and online videos is built right into the app from now on. And I can resize that if I wanted to make it a little bit smaller. There's nothing I had to download. There's nothing I had to install. I find the video, I insert it, and it works. Simple as that. Okay?
You want to save that as a PDF and send it to people so that they can read your paper. I'm assuming that video is embedded in it.
I believe it works just fine. Yeah, I believe I can just go into, and I'll go into PDFs in just a little bit with this, but I believe it should work just fine. I haven't tested saving a PDF with the video,
Sure.
but we'll see together how it works when we get to it, okay? We have another neat thing here, going over into the Insert tab. Everyone loves these little apps and things that we can get. You know, we're used to apps on our smartphone. Well, Office has apps. And this is not exclusive to Word. Actually, every Office app, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, I believe has this apps functionality. And I'll show you just a sliver of what they offer in here. There's so many different things that they have. If I click on apps here, I can search for something, or I was just going into the featured apps to try some of the biggest things that they had here, and I actually preloaded in, all I had to do was actually just select it, and it became available. But this neat thing over here, Pro Word Cloud. Word clouds are very, very popular in the education realm, but it's a neat way, as you see here, of creating an image that shows you which words show up more and have more influence in a certain document. So let me actually delete this so we don't skew our results here. But if I wanted to create a word cloud using this simple app that I found, all I had to do was click on it. Once I went into the apps for Office area, it installed itself behind the scenes. I didn't have to do anything special. And I'm just going to go ahead and create a word cloud out of that. And there we go. I can right click on it, I can copy that, and I can insert that into my document. And again, this is more for people in education or from the school sector. But as you can see, it took a look at everything that was in that selection of text, and it created a word cloud for me. And there have been websites that can do this, but again, you have to leave your document, you have to copy your text out. It's just not as seamless. So things like that, apps like this, just bring that experience from the web into your Office program for you. So you don't have to leave, so you can do everything you want to do right within your document. Let me see some of the other apps that I had over here. I thought this dictionary one was pretty neat. And you can stack apps next to each other if you're using multiple things at a time. So I'll close out of that one. So English dictionary, if I went ahead and I believe I just have to highlight a word, I can get a full dictionary explanation for that. So if you're reading something deep and maybe a medical article or a business article and you don't know a lot of the terms, open up your dictionary app, highlight your items, and it'll tell you the definitions of, well, whatever it can find. So it's pretty neat, These are the kind of things we have to go on to dictionary.com or open up our Webster's to do, and now we can just highlight it and it does all the heavy lifting for us. Word Calc was another one in here that I tried. Word Calc is, I believe, a simple little calculator I can have open. So if you're working on more of a business document and you're looking for basic math functionality in here, you don't have a calculator by you, you could just go ahead, open up your Word Calc and do your calculations right on the fly and then insert them right into your document. And there's many more to go through. I'm not going to show off them, all of them, but you can go into Apps for Office and there are thousands upon thousands of apps that you can play with. Another neat functionality in Word for the new version is, say I left off all the way on page 5 of my document. So before, when we used to open up our Word documents, it was maybe a 50-page document, you're working on a thesis, or you're working on a long business proposal, you forgot exactly where you left off. Word's a little smarter now. I open up that document one more time, and it's going to offer me the chance to go exactly back where I left off. So I click on that, it'll bring me down to exactly where I was working previously. Not the biggest thing, but for some people, if you work in a lot of large, long Word documents, that's a neat feature. It helped me out more than a few times when I was working on some things recently. Okay, here's the neat functionality I was talking about with PDF editing and opening. Ruth, can I turn the lights down a little bit towards the front? It's just a little harsh on the... Or everything can go.
Try.
I don't need that much light, so.
Okay.
There we go. Perfect.
Good.
So to show you that you don't need Adobe Acrobat anymore to edit your PDF files, I have 2 test PDF files that I downloaded. One's a W-9 straight from the IRS, and one is I think a white paper on cloud security or something like that that I downloaded. Just all random search results that I got off of Google. Nothing specific about why I got these. But say I wanted to go ahead and open this W-9 document and edit it. I don't know, what you'd be editing it for to change it, but again, I just want to show you that this does work. So I'm going to take the W-9, I'm going to go right-click on it, and I'm going to do Open With Word. It's going to go ahead and it's going to start a translation for us. It's going to tell us some aspects. Sometimes it'll tell you some aspects can't be reworked. Again, if a PDF document is very complex and has a lot of Adobe-specific formatting, it's going to be a little bit tougher. But this one came out fairly well. And as you can see, I can go in and I can start removing things that I don't want. I'll start taking some of these boxes out for myself over here. And I can pretty much edit this file to be whatever I want it to be. So as you can see, most items in here are fully editable. There we go. I took out the whole header.
You can get forms from the IRS on this too? 10 forms?
Well, not the program itself doesn't give you the forms. I went to the IRS, I downloaded it, and I'm just showing you that you can go ahead and work in this file that was meant to be locked down and change it however you like. So if you want to make your own IRS documents, you're free to do so. I wouldn't recommend it. This is all theoretical. Go ahead, yes.
Well, in that regard, is there a way to lock a file so people can't? Not anymore, because if
I don't
you can
think
edit
so.
it,
With this kind of functionality, I think locking. The only way you'd be able to lock it is, I think, if you had the full Acrobat. They do have some sort of items that put some kind of padlocks behind the scenes, but that's really the only thing I've seen with putting full locks on documents like this.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, for me in the past, using a PDF was my way of securing that the information was not going to change
Yep.
once it went
Not the
somewhere
case
else.
anymore, unfortunately. So
Interesting.
yeah, it's a balancing act. You know, there's a lot of people that want to edit PDFs, a lot of
Right.
people that don't want their PDFs edited. So you know, we'll see what happens here. But if you're that concerned about, you know, people not being able to edit that, you might need the full Acrobat because it does have a lot more stringent security for tying, you know, things down where you can password protect it and you can't even open it in Office at that point. So that's the one workaround for that. But likewise, I wanted to go ahead and save my maligned W9 document. So very simple. I'm going to go to File. I'm going to go to Save As. I don't know. Let's go ahead. I'll toss it into my SkyDrive folder here for the Office class. As long as our internet speed plays nicely with us, we should be okay. Come on. Okay, there we go. So I wanted to go ahead and save this PDF file. Actually, it was a PDF. I edited it and fixed it a little bit, and I want to resave it as a PDF. I go ahead, I'm going to scroll down in my Save As type. I'm going to select PDF here, and I'll do W9 Revised, Save, and we will open that PDF up and see how it looks. Here's that file. There it is. And that's PDF. But I went ahead and changed and made my own. So there you go. So that's one. I'll open up another one just to show you that I wasn't playing with that. We'll open up this white paper over here. I'll go right click on it. I'll do Open With, Word. And this one should open up any second now. There we go. So this was a document from Salesforce. So some of the things I can't edit, this was like an image they put into their file. But once I get into the meat of the document, I can go make all the changes I want, remove things, edit things, do whatever I want to do. And again, this was a PDF file that initially was saved in Adobe Acrobat or something similar, and I'm making a real mess of it now. So yeah, I just want to show you and you know, get your brain going and show you what you can do with this. But you know, as we see live on the screen here, working with PDF files and editing them and changing them and resaving them is now not a problem any longer. So we can definitely do that going forward. Pretty cool, huh? The one other part about Word that I want to show off is our new reading mode that they have. They used to have reading mode before, but it's gotten a little bit better. I forgot what kind of navigation they had before, but if you're viewing it on a little bit larger screen, you get a 2-column split now. And if you have pictures in your document, you can simply double-click on them to bring them up quickly. So if you're reading a long ebook document, maybe for class or for work or something, you can do that, and I believe you can also right-click on words, bring up your define, your dictionary.
Exceptions.
And you can even get the word read out to you if you don't know how to pronounce it for yourself. So,
verification.
So again, you know, more useful for documents that may be a little more complex or something of that nature. But again, reading mode has gotten a little bit better in here and a little more usable, especially for longer documents and more complex documents. Go back into regular mode, and so that's that. And actually, I can remove that if I want as well. Any questions about any of the items that I showed off right there? Again, you probably want to play with these yourself. I just want to, you know, get your brain flowing for some of the things that you can give a try from the new version. And again, if you're curious about any of these aspects that I'm showing off, on the back of the agenda document, I put a link to, I called it Office 2013 What's New Resource Hub. That is probably the best place to go if you want to learn exactly about any of these new features from the new Office. They have step-by-step links from within there, and they have every application from the new version of Office, what's new, how-to videos, all kinds of things in there. So that's probably the best bet. It's on that TechNet website. that I link to. And also Microsoft's YouTube channel. Their Office Videos YouTube channel. They put a lot of great content out, step-by-step videos, sort of like what I'm doing here today, but they specify exactly how to do something from start to finish for whatever you're trying to do. So that would be a really good learning resource for you to go to.
Excuse me.
Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, where was that reading mode? Where did you...
Oh, I clicked on it right. It's a little hard to see, but on the bottom right-hand corner, next to our Zoom bar, we have this little button over here, and it says read mode on it. And if you click on it, then you can use your left and right arrow buttons to go back and forth, or you can use your on-screen. If you had a touch screen, you can just click your press your finger to the screen, and you can go back and forth with your document. So it's sort of the best of tablet and regular desktop Word functionality for you all in one area. And also, if you haven't seen the new Zoom bar, I think this one was introduced in 2010, but text zooming in and out, you can easily use this little slider over here for yourself.
Wow.
Just hold your mouse down. It's going a little bit slow because I'm recording at the same time. And it works a little better in live mode. There we go. But you can quickly go in and out of your document on the fly. Before, Zoom used to be a little bit funky because you only had a few steps, like 50%, 75%, 100%, 125%. Now you just put your mouse cursor over it, and you can get as fine-tuned, as far out as you want to be, or as close as you want to be. So there we are. And this I'll show off in a little bit. Just so you know, if you see your name show up in your copy of Office, it's not a bug that's happening. It's actually meant to happen. Let me actually bring this down since it's a little high up for everyone to see. But right in the middle of the screen here, my name's showing up. And that's because I'm signed into my SkyDrive account on my computer. Now this is again that functionality where Microsoft's really tying in really closely to SkyDrive and allowing us to work within the new Office and save everything within SkyDrive right within our program. So if you sign yourself into the SkyDrive app, and I'll get into that in a little bit, your name will show up. You can put your picture in over here. And if you have a personal account like I do right now, you can change to a work account for yourself. So you can switch between your professional and your personal accounts on the fly through here. So that's why my name's showing up. So don't be scared if you see that on your computer down the road. Okay? All right, let's go into Excel. We got to keep moving over here because I got the fun stuff still coming out. Okay, I'm not going to save that. We'll get out of our illegal W9. All right, let's jump into Excel over here. First thing I want to show off. One of the basic things, probably not the most flashy thing, but we do have some neat new templates that they have introduced in the new version. By default, there's a start screen that opens that shows these templates for you. I turn that off because I just need to get into a spreadsheet right away most of the time. But before, the templates they used to have were kind of quirky, they were kind of cheesy, but now some of these are pretty functional. Just as an example, they have a neat family budget planner that you can go ahead and choose from, right from this template area. I can open this up and start setting up a budget for myself. I can change my expenses that I have, and it has graphs and neat aspects that it shows and updates right on the fly, and you can fully change this to whatever you want it to be, if you don't like any of the aspects of it. So again, the cheesiness of the old templates they used to have are gone. I really think they got some professional designers to really make some neat templates for us that you can just jump into and start using. So that's a monthly budget planner that's built right in. I can go back in and show you a different one here. Let's see. I was playing with a car expense one a few days ago. You can do a sales report right from here. You can do a daily work schedule for yourself. If you're a college student, you can set up a budget for yourself right on here with neat graphs that change. So let's see if I change this. These numbers, everything will start adjusting itself. So again, built to jump into, start using, and start leveraging instead of wasting all your time designing things. You can use some of these templates to just start doing the important items that you wanted to do with Excel. So that's just a sample of some of the new templates that they offer in Excel 2013. I'm going to open up this test spreadsheet that I have over here. It has some numbers. It's just a sample spreadsheet I pulled from the web. It looks like a 4-quarter spreadsheet that just has some numbers for how many clients and how many fees were collected by a few different individuals. Just so I can show you some of the neat new charting capabilities in Excel. It's maybe more interesting to some of you than others, but I'm going to go through it anyway. For example, they have a neat option in here called Quick Analysis. So before, we had to go through a few steps in our insert charts and charting capabilities that we had to wade through in order to go ahead and analyze our data. Now it's really simple. All I have to do, highlight the data I'm looking to go ahead and analyze. This little option over here shows up, and this is the Quick Analysis button. And when this comes up for us, I can go ahead and click on that, and I can do all kinds of things right from here, from quick little formats that even show right on the fly, icon sets that I can introduce, color scales, data bars for myself. And this is all just using a rollover just to see what it can do for myself. I didn't have to go into anything. All I did was highlight my data, go into Quick Analysis, and I can start playing with some of these items for myself. I can go ahead and insert charts on the fly for myself, and it'll give me a full preview of how the chart's going to look before I even waste the time doing it. And these are the items that used to be, fairly time-consuming in the old version of Excel because you had to format your chart. If you didn't like how it turned out, okay, back to restarting, setting up your chart again. Now, some of the most common charts are calculated right on the fly, and they show you exactly how it's going to look. So if I like it, boom, there it is. Goes ahead, it creates a pivot table for me right on the fly, and I can start using that for myself and move it around. It's in a different sheet in my workbook right now. I can cut it out, put it back over here, and there it is. And that took me no more than 3 seconds to do. 3 seconds and 2 clicks. So I think that's some pretty neat functionality because, again, I think that's a time saver for a lot of people. I don't work with charts that much, so it's not as beneficial to me. But there we go. It's doing some quick counts and averages and auto sums, percentage totals. And all I'm doing is I did 1 click to go to Quick Analysis, and it's showing me these items right on the fly. So really neat, really quick functionality. And again, just making your life easier. Stop waiting and wasting time in menus and actually getting work done for yourself. Flash fill. This is a neat new tool that quite a few people might be able to leverage. I have a test spreadsheet over here filled with a bunch of names. I can't even count how many times I've had an Excel spreadsheet with people's names or people's addresses that I was trying to split up into different cells. And if I had to do this, if I had 100 people in this list, and I'll actually make this a little bit longer just so it becomes a little more realistic for us. If I had to get this into 2 separate columns, the old process was a dog and pony show. I had to select my data. I had to go do a text-to-column split. It was a few-step process. If you didn't get it right, you had to go back and start it again. This is pretty neat. This is called flash fill. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go over into I believe it's under data. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just show Excel what I'm trying to do with this information. I basically have 1 column full of names. And I want to tell Excel, I'm not going to tell Excel, I'm showing Excel that I want to split that up into 2 separate columns. So I'm going to give it an example. My first row has Alex Mansion in it. So I'm going to type out his name, Alex Mansion. If I go into the cell right underneath it, I could go ahead and type it out and do it manually. Or I could do a flash fill. Look at that. I just inserted the first name of every person in my first column, and I'm going to do the same thing in this one. Flash fill that. Look at that. 1-to-1 match. I split up all that information, and it's not limited to names. You could do sets of addresses you can split up. You can split up any kind of information that can exist in a single column that can be split because it has spaces in it. You can do that in the new Excel. And this was time-consuming in old versions, but now it's dirt easy. Yes?
Derrick, would it be able to read, because a lot of times that information comes with email addresses.
Okay.
Is it going to be able to read that?
An email address?
Yeah. Just split it front and back, first and last name. So if the email address comes in Derrick.Smith at will it be able to split the Derrick?
Let's give it a try. It's worth a shot. We'll try it right now. Let me open up a new spreadsheet so I don't confuse it. Open up a fresh one here. I haven't tried that, but it doesn't hurt to try. Derrick.Wlodarz at gmail.com, and you were trying to do what kind of split? Split out my
what
name?
You just did, just the name.
Okay, let's try this. Let's try Derrick Wlodarz. Well, I gotta have some. Let's try. See if it works. 50-50 shot. If it works. Well, it does.
Wow.
There we go.
Oh.
So I guess it's more powerful than we thought.
Good question.
So again, all we're doing, we're just taking information in a column. We're showing Excel what we want to do with it. Go to our data tab. Go into Flash Fill, and it'll fill out 1,000 rows. Million rows. I don't know what the limit is on it, but you can do some real heavy data splitting for yourself with very, very little effort now. So that is probably one of my neatest aspects of the new Excel is Flash Fill. That's what I'm starting to use more and more often. Okay, so that's Flash Fill. Pivot tables. Let me go back to my other Excel document over here with my data. Now, very simply, all you have to do if you want to do a pivot table for yourself, just click on a piece of information from your data set, go into Insert tab, go into Recommended Pivot Tables, and you can see all the different pivot tables you can set up right on the fly. So sort of like quick analysis that we had I had shown off a little bit earlier, but this is for pivot tables, and these are ways that you can set up a large piece of data where you can filter out pieces of information so that certain things show, certain things don't. So for example, if I wanted to only have 2 people out of the 3 show up in this set of data, it would change my information on the fly, so I could do really neat and integrated analysis on a large piece of a large data set without having to recreate and do separate charts for myself. I can just change my pivot table right on the fly and display that information for myself. So pivot tables existed before, but they were, again, never this easy to insert into a document. Okay? All right, moving forward. This is nothing that I really have to show. Let me see if I can pull it up really quickly. New functions, Excel 2013. I'm not going to show any of these. I haven't tried any of them, but Excel 2013 introduces about 50 new functions specific to engineering, statistics, and trigonometry that you can use. Probably some things that I'm probably never going to be able to figure out, but again, if you're a heavy math person, engineering person, you can definitely leverage some of these items that they have put into the program for you. And I put a link to a document, F4F, on my agenda. That is a link actually to a neat, let me see if I have it still in my web browser here. Chandu. There we go. You can go to this page. There's a lot of features of Excel that are a little harder to show off without doing demonstrations of them, but you can actually go into this site that I linked to, and this guy made up some real nice demos. Here we go, animation for flash fill. We already did that, but some other items so you can see some of the other new features that are in Excel. So some very neat, simple animations that were done here to show some of those items off. So you can go to this page on your own time. Here's an animated chart that you can do in Excel, and there's links to how to do these various things on that page. Okay, so that's it with Excel. I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to go into PowerPoint now really briefly, and then we'll get into the really juicy stuff that is SkyDrive from this. I'm not going to save those. All right, back to my SkyDrive folder here. One of the biggest things in PowerPoint 2013 is that we finally have support for widescreen monitors. So for the longest time, you were not able to create presentations that look nice on a widescreen like this because most of the world's moving to widescreen. Now you can. All you have to do, I believe, is just go into the Design tab in the new PowerPoint. You can go into Slide Size and you can change between 4:3 and widescreen mode for yourself. So instead of having to work really hard to get that widescreen support, to be able to do nicer widescreen presentations for yourself, it's a simple click, select, and you can turn that on for yourself. So you can give that a try on your own time. Theme variations. Themes have been around since Office 2007. However, now you can quickly go between different designs for your PowerPoint pages and not only change the whole theme of it, but you can also do color variations on the fly. So this used to be, I believe this is brand new. They didn't have this before. You had a few preset options for themes that you could use in PowerPoint, and okay, they were neat, but once you used them all, again, you're fairly limited to what you could use. Now I can choose a theme. I like this theme, but I perhaps just want to change some of the colors around. I can quickly do that for myself now. I'm not tied down to just the single preset color scheme that was set up for that particular theme that they offered. So I can change and try between all these. Looks like every theme has a difference of 4 different presets. So your options are a lot more, a lot wider now than they used to be for working with themes in PowerPoint. Spacing objects. This was always a tough thing to do. So here's an example sheet I have in my PowerPoint presentation. So it's always difficult for me. Okay, I wanted to line these 2 items up. I want to line up the top of my little barrel to the top of the butterfly or moth I have here. Okay, I had to eyeball it or turn on my ruler before, and it was just a pain in the rear end. Now, all you have to do, move your little item around and look at the smart guides that it has for us. It'll tell me when it's lined up with the top of the other image. It'll show me various spacing points between the, going up to the other image. So you can easily line items up. There's the center point for the image showing right there. Center point. Or, for your vertical axis, your center and your vertical. So again, it's a lot easier to place items now in your PowerPoint presentation. I think this exists in Word as well. Because now the program is smart enough to go ahead and tell what's around it and what it thinks you're trying to do with placement. So again, it just makes lining up items a lot easier than having to guess at where your middle points are within your document. And that happens on the fly, and it calculates where middle points are, where the centers are on your page as you go. That same video functionality that I showed everyone from Word also exists in PowerPoint. This is probably the place where you're going to use that video functionality. So same way, I'm going to go into Insert, Video. I can choose a video from my computer, as you have been able to do before. It's never worked really well, so I never recommended it to people because PowerPoint treats videos, I don't know, like something from a different planet. But now we can insert YouTube videos, and this is probably the easiest way to do it because why waste all the time in downloading the video and saving it when I can just go onto YouTube, find my video for myself. So I wanted to find a video about black cats. I can go ahead and do a search, and there we go. Looks like my cat at home. I'm going to go ahead, insert that for myself, and I can set it up. If I right-click and do to start, I can set it to automatically on-click, start when I'm presenting, or automatically start when I get to the slide. So again, very easy to set up my videos and tell PowerPoint how I want them to work when I'm within my presentation. So I think video functionality is one of the biggest things that got an overhaul in Office 2013. And I can move that wherever I want that to sit. And the nice part about inserting online videos into your document, it doesn't bloat your PowerPoint file. Before, if you used to insert a video into PowerPoint, you'd end up with like 100 megabyte PowerPoint, and it'd take like 10 minutes for it to open. If it's an online video you're inserting, the file's not any larger with that video than it was without it. Because remember, we're pulling the video from YouTube on the fly and watching it on the fly. And again, this might be a problem for those that might not have internet wherever they're presenting, But if you do have internet, and most places that we're presenting these days do have internet, we should be just fine to play that video right within PowerPoint that's pulling from YouTube. So I think that's pretty neat functionality. I remember back in high school, I was trying to insert videos into my PowerPoints, and it was a nightmare of a process. Not anymore. Formatting, working with pictures is a little bit easier. Before you had to go up here and work with the toolbar up at the top. But now Microsoft has made it a lot easier for us. So if I go ahead and right-click on a picture I want to edit, and I go to Format Picture, it brings up all my common options right on the right-hand side, and I can quickly work with all these different items like presets on shadows and whatever it is else that I want to do, picture corrections for myself. And I think they've introduced a few new items as well for us. Do crops, sizing, positioning, adding text boxes, adding glow effects. So again, a lot of these things that just took a few more clicks to do. Now we can work with them right on the fly, right on the right-hand side. And once you open up your format toolbar or taskbar for pictures, you can go between any slide in your PowerPoint and have all your options show up right on the right-hand side. And again, not a deal breaker, but does make it a little bit easier to work with larger numbers of graphics within your PowerPoint document. So this is a chart I have in here. I can format my data series. So it is aware of what I'm clicking on, what I'm changing between, and giving me the proper options for those items. This is the coolest aspect of the new PowerPoint, seamless co-authoring. All right, I'm going to give this a try. Lindsay, I'm going to give you a link to go to, okay? And I'm going to work on this PowerPoint presentation with Lindsay at the same time. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to go into the File menu, and I'm going to show this in more detail when we get to SkyDrive in just a few minutes. But I'm going to go into Share, and I'm going to go into Get a Sharing Link. I'm going to share out, and actually did share this yesterday, so I have a link already made. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to make a short link for Lindsay. This is some of what I'm talking about with editing with other people. So I'm going to make this a short little file, PPT Niles demo, okay? Let me see if it allows it. All right, Lindsay, can you try going to that for me? tinyurl.com. And if anyone else on the computer wants to jump in and try this, feel free to do so. You can definitely join us. tinyurl.com/ppt-niles-demo. And you tell me when you get into it. So here's what Lindsay's seeing on her side. I'm in this PowerPoint right now, and I've shared out a link for her to be able to come in and work on this with me. So how does it look? Well, I'm going to paste in that little link for us, and you don't have to shorten it like I did. I'm just doing it for the sake of making it easier for you to get into. But now I'm taken to Office web app version of PowerPoint, and I can just view the PowerPoint, which is nice. Well, what's even nicer is I can go ahead and edit this in my web browser, and I can work on it at the same time as I'm working on it in full PowerPoint. And it's telling me right now, Derrick Wlodarz is editing this presentation. So I'm going to go into slide number 3. Go into slide 3 so we can all be on the same page here.
What was the page?
tinyurl.com /ppt-niles-demo. Okay, we got a new guest in the presentation. And it's showing us at the bottom of the screen, we have 3 people working on it right now. And someone's making changes, because that wasn't me. That's Lindsay. So that's Lindsay working in the website. I'm going to go back into the full PowerPoint program. Did you put the cat in there, Lindsay? Okay. So again, it requires a fairly decent internet connection for you to be able to see these changes happen on the fly here. And again, when you get sometimes too many people working on it at the same time, it does create a little bit of an issue. Let's see. Let's go back in here. Take out the cat. So if you're on the desktop version of Office and you're working with someone, you have to go ahead and on the next save that you do is when you see the changes that are introduced. So the people on the website actually get it a little bit faster since the website is saving like every 5-10 seconds. If you're on the desktop version, you have to wait till your autosave happens every 5 minutes, or you have to force a save. So it's a little less seamless on the desktop, but it's definitely still workable. So let's go see how the web version looks right there. So we still didn't get all of our changes. Let's see. And yeah, we're getting there.
Does it matter that this computer only has 2010, not 2013?
Doesn't matter, no. You're on the website, you are using the latest version of Office Web App, which has nothing to do with your desktop version. So again, I think it's a little cleaner in the web version. And Lindsay, are you making changes right now to it? Mantra. Okay, so we can see. So the web version actually updates a little bit quicker than the desktop version, and you can tell when people are in and out of the document. But again, this is sort of some of the functionality that we now have access to, as opposed to working on a PowerPoint file and emailing it back and forth to one another. So now you can open up this document. Not only can you work on it, but I can go ahead and I can sit at the library and work on it at the same time. And collaboration, working with others in real time, is possible, and we're doing it here right on the fly. And I'll go back. Let's see. Let's do a save for ourselves in here. And again, I think our internet's a little slower, so some of the changes on my desktop program are not coming in as quickly. But we have 4 people working in the document right now. If you're on a desktop version of Office, it'll show the actual person's name in it if they're not a guest. So, for work, for school, for your family, I think this kind of functionality is fairly interesting. And there we go. Our desktop version is the same as our web version. There's no smoke and mirrors going on here. This is a live document that we are all working on at the current time. Yes? So
Lindsay makes changes, you make changes, Lindsay is done. Is there a save function then that she will hit online? Online it's seamless. Let me go back to the web version here. Online there's no save button. It saves automatically. Okay. Sort of like Google Docs. It's just it's pulling the changes in as you go. It's the desktop side that relies on you hitting save to pull the changes up. Okay. So if you have a lot of people working on an Office web app together, like a PowerPoint presentation, you might want to have everyone working on the website, since I think it's a little more seamless than the desktop app. And this is more practical. Not everyone has to go out and buy Office. Just everyone get one person get a SkyDrive account, start up a document, and there you go. You can all work together now in that same file. So I guess that's a good junction point, because that brings me into SkyDrive. So I teased everyone with a little bit of this functionality right now with SkyDrive, but now I'm going to actually tell you everything that's going on here behind the scenes. So SkyDrive is nothing more than a web account that you make, totally free. If you want to make yourself an account, it's nothing more than going over to skydrive.com. Doesn't cost you a thing. The only time you'd have to pay is if you wanted to get more storage space for yourself. By default, you get 7. By default, everyone gets 7 gigabytes free storage space. And 7 gigabytes is fairly sizable. If all you're working on is Word documents, Excel, and PowerPoint files, OneNote notebooks for yourself, or Access databases, it's going to take you a little bit of time to fill up 7 gigabytes. But if you do want to use it further, if you want to store your pictures in here, you definitely can do so. There's nothing against it. And I want to show you how this looks for if you wanted to use it yourself. So to show you that I'm not bluffing here, this isn't some kind of a joke, I'm going to show everyone, well, let me log into my account here. So I'm accessing my files on the web. This is my live SkyDrive account. These are all my items over here, my different folders that I have. I'll put it into more of a Windows view. Let's pull up my SkyDrive folder so you can see that that is a carbon copy of everything I have right there. Documents, Office 2013 class, other stuff. If I go into my class folder, all the same files show in there. And I can access any of my files that are Word, Excel, PowerPoint,
PowerPoint and OneNote I can access right on the web. So for example, I opened up that PowerPoint previously on full desktop Office. Now I'll just go ahead in my SkyDrive and I'm going to open it right within here. And that was this widescreen presentation. It'll open it right within the web app for me. And again, I'm doing what I would do if I was at a public computer, or if I went to my school, DePaul, downtown, and I was sitting at one of their machines, and I wanted to start working on this. Open up my SkyDrive, click on Edit Presentation. Now it knows that I have full PowerPoint installed, so I can work on it in full PowerPoint, or work on it in the web app. I want to work on it in the web app because I don't want to open up full PowerPoint, and this is sort of what I get. There I am, working within there, and I can start making changes right on the fly for myself. Same thing exists for, let's go back into SkyDrive. It's not just PowerPoint. That Excel file that I was showing everyone, actually let's go into that right now. That was an Excel survey that I made. And if I wanted to make a file in my SkyDrive account, it's very simple. On the top bar, click on Create, tell it exactly what you want to make. A new Word document, Excel workbook, that questionnaire or the survey that I was asking everyone to go to earlier on was this over here, an Excel survey file. I can make a OneNote notebook, or I can do a PowerPoint right within here. So I'm going to go to that questions Excel document, Excel survey that I made. And an Excel survey doesn't have a desktop equivalent. You have to make that online. Here we go. Some people filled out some questions already. Here they are. So let's see. I'm not going to answer these just yet, but this was the back end. This is the back end for the survey that is right over here. If I click on View Survey, there's my survey. And here's everything I collected from it. And if I wanted to edit the survey, I can go ahead and click on Edit. I can work on it right within the browser. I can take questions out for myself. I'll add a new question here. Let's add in a question here. I'll add in a comments box. I can have a subtitle in for it. I can change it over to be a paragraph. I want a little more space for it. Click on Done. Save it. And on the fly, I just edited my survey document, and I didn't have to know a thing about how to make a website. I mean, this is as simple as it gets, people. You really don't have to put much effort into using this functionality. And this is just the tip of the iceberg for what we can do in SkyDrive. Go ahead.
In SkyDrive, you actually created a survey, but
yes,
a lot of times what we'll do is just a multiple use of an Excel sheet.
Okay.
So I can theoretically just have an Excel sheet, create it, and then just give everyone the address to that Excel sheet for them to work on.
Exactly.
Right? I don't have to create another document like a survey.
No. A survey is just another form of an Excel document.
Okay.
It's just a version of Excel document that you're going to use to pull information from outside parties. If you want to use Excel the more traditional way that you're talking about, very simple. Let's go back into SkyDrive. Let's go back into my SkyDrive account over here. And I'll show you from start to finish how I'm going to make an Excel document, even if I don't have a copy of Office installed, and how I'm going to share it. So let me go into my Office 2013 class folder. I'm going to make a new Excel document. And if you wanted to make a folder for yourself to subdivide your folder, up at the top here to create, that's where you'd make a folder if you're curious. So let's make an Excel workbook. Create, Excel workbook. I'm going to title it, Test for our class. Click on Create. It's going to get dumped into my SkyDrive folder. And it should show up. There it is. Wow. Right there. Wait, which one was it again? Test from our class. Yeah. So I can actually open it on the desktop. Now again, Excel's a little more limited right now. They're fixing this up. It's not as real time where you can have the desktop version open with the web version at the same time. It's a little more locked down, but they are introducing that same functionality like PowerPoint already has with the multiple people in it at the same time. They're going to offer that, I think, in 2 or 3 months or so. So that's on the horizon. So I'm not going to show off that right now, but let's show off our website of it.
So it would have told me instantly that you had it open.
Yes, if I had it open in the desktop version for myself. Okay. But those changes should go in, and I can at least go into the document, and I should have all those items. Okay, so it wasn't as... And right over here on the bottom of my screen, my SkyDrive icon is zip zooming across. It's telling me it's looking for changes. It's updating my file on the fly for myself. And looks like it's done. Let's open that up. Yep. So Excel's being a little bit slower. Excel tends to be a little bit slower in that regard between the desktop and the web app version. But again, a little bit of it's because of the slow internet that we have. A little bit of it is because Microsoft still has a little bit of work to do with that.
You don't have to close this though, theoretically.
No, you don't have to. Well, if you want to be able to work on it in the SkyDrive on your desktop version of Excel, you would have to close the web version to be able to work on it in the desktop version. But that's just temporary. That limitation's going away very soon. Okay? So with this, say I wanted to share this file out now with others.
Right.
I created this Excel document. I want to share with others. Big share button right at the top of the screen here. Click on share. I can send it in an email. The link over email directly. The way I like to do it, I like to get a link for myself. I like this functionality because I can then go into my Gmail and email it to people in my address book. And I have 3 different options here that we can use. Just like Google Docs, if you've ever used Google Docs, we have an option to make a link that's view only. So if I only wanted external parties to be able to view what's in my spreadsheet but not change anything. Useful in some situations. I have an option that I can view and edit. So someone can go into it and change it. Or I can go ahead and make it fully public. So anyone can change it and anyone can find it over Google. A little more dangerous. I wouldn't use that make public link unless it's something you truly want broadcasted with everyone in the world. So the two options that are most popular for using the sharing functionality is going to be the view only or the edit and view. I'm going to make a link for edit and view. And I'm going to shorten it. And then it's nice because when you make a sharing link in SkyDrive on the web, you can shorten the link really quickly like this with using the shorten button. And it becomes a nice, small, quick little link for us. Lindsay, you want to try going to this? Or anyone want to try going to this link? Let me enlarge this because it's a little small. sdrv.ms/17 L, capital L, 0, lowercase b, uppercase s, lowercase z. Okay? And if I go back in here, I should have people popping in. As long as we type in that link, okay. One person editing. I think someone else is potentially in here. Here and there. So it's as simple as that. I can share it out. The nice part is, that if I share something out and say that link has gotten in a few hands that I don't want it to be in, I can take those permissions back on the fly. So I can go back into the sharing option in here and go remove permissions. And you guys are probably going to lose access to that document very quickly. Next time it tries to do a refresh, it's probably going to say file locked or it's going to ask you to log into SkyDrive. So
once it's complete, you can remove it.
Yeah.
And say now no one else can
turn off the permissions, take the permissions back, and then it's your own personal file once again.
I have logged into SkyDrive, but when I tried to refresh,
and it kicked you out. So the security functions do work on it. We have tested that. Okay. So now let me try going back into my desktop version and seeing what's pulled into here. Test for our class. There we go. Okay, so it's a little bit slower, but it did pull in there. And again, if you're at home working on a little faster internet, these changes between desktop and the web app side are going to be a little bit quicker. But again, as you see, these are Excel files that we didn't used to be able to work on the web with, and now we can. And I can go on any computer in the world as long as I go to skydrive.com. As I said, I have access to all those files. So, like I said, I can lose this laptop today, and I really wouldn't care because all my files are in SkyDrive. I could go ahead and change the password on my account, and I would still have all of my my documents for myself within this. So it's an easy, seamless backup of all your files without having to lift a finger. That's really what this is. Giving you accessibility on the web, giving you the ability to share with others on the fly, and giving you a cloud backup all in one program that doesn't cost you a dime, as long as you have 7 GB or less of files. So, these are some of the things that you can do with the SkyDrive tool. Now I showed off some of the web apps. Again, Word, Excel are not the only ones. We have PowerPoint. You can do a OneNote notebook, and OneNote I'm not going to show off, but it's like a note-taking virtual notebook where you can subdivide between different notebooks in a file and different pages on a file and different tabs in a file. So it's like a paper notebook in a digital format for using it for class notes, or if you're transcribing things from a lecture that you went to. It's a nicer way to save that than necessarily a simple Word document, because you can organize things between dates, between categories, between subjects. You can get very nitty-gritty like that for yourself. Yes, go ahead.
So just to backtrack for a
second. Sure.
I'm in Excel. I create a whole document in Excel. Now I'm ready to save it, but I want it to be on the SkyDrive.
Okay.
If I'm in Excel and I go to save it, is there a specific save that I'm going to do when I'm
yes.
in Excel to be?
So there's it's really easy. If you're signed into your SkyDrive on your computer, if I go into Excel, so let's see what I have open here in Excel. I'm going to do a new document. That was the document we made before, so it's not as good an example. Let's make a new document. I want it to go ahead and save this into my SkyDrive. Yeah. If I go into File, Save As, if I'm signed into SkyDrive, it's going to ask me first to put it into my SkyDrive. Okay. So SkyDrive sort of becomes your preferred spot if you're signed in your computer. Gotcha. So it becomes seamless. You don't even have to think.
Be signed in.
You just have to be signed into the SkyDrive app. And the SkyDrive app is free for Windows and Mac computers. And there's a tablet version as well, one for your smartphone. So you can access your SkyDrive program on any device this day.
Okay. So I chose that. I unplugged from the internet. I'm on an airplane, no internet mode. Can I still access that doc? Is it still on my desktop?
Yes, it's still on your computer. And actually, I'll replicate that right now. Let me unplug my internet cable. We're going to go offline. And we will try to go to a website here, and it should not allow us to go. There we go. Website's not available. Internet is out. And our SkyDrive folder right here. I have a little shortcut here on my bottom area, but you can get to it from your regular documents bar as well. You can open up this little folder, and SkyDrive shows up right under your favorites area up here. And there they are. I have no internet, but if I go into my Office 2013 class, and I go into Test for Our Class, I can open that up, and I can start working on it. And when I save it, oh, what did I do there? Yeah, I don't know. I clicked on something. There we go. There we go. And when I save it, it'll go back into my, so it'll do the reverse. It'll go into my SkyDrive folder, and then when I go back online, the computer's going to pick it up, and it's going to put it back into my SkyDrive account. So SkyDrive is just the middleman. It's a mediator between the web, the power of the cloud, power of the internet, and the power of using things on your local computer. I can go on a plane. I have everything on my SkyDrive. I can work on my classwork and homework, and I get back to the airport, wherever I'm traveling, get connected to the internet, and it'll pull everything up to my SkyDrive account for me. Jump on a public kiosk. I can work on the web version. And you can see where this is heading. Seamless, anywhere access to everything I might want to be able to have at my fingertips, no matter what computer I'm on this day and age. Also, another nice part, let me get back on the internet so I can show you this. Version history. How many times have we saved over an Excel file and we were like, shoot, I lost something from that, I deleted something by mistake, you didn't have a backup copy of that? SkyDrive's here to save your rear end. So let me show you how. SkyDrive by default has the capability of, and see my SkyDrive icon? See how it's syncing again? It's going zoom, zoom, zoom. See? Processing changes. I'm back online. It knows to do a checkup and pull everything back, all the changed revisions that I've made. So it does a seamless transfer behind the scenes. I don't have to lift a finger for that to happen. Let me go back into SkyDrive over here, back into my Office 2013 class folder. Any file I save, any Office file I save, and this might even exist for other types of files. I haven't tried it though, but I know for a fact, Office files, I can right-click on. So if I wanted to see the version history on this file, Test for Our Class, right-click on it, go to Version History, and take a look at what I get. This one only has 2 versions saved, but ideally, if you're working on a long document with others, I can go back 25 versions back. How did we ever do this before? You couldn't. You save over, you made a mistake, and so sorry, redo your work. Well, SkyDrive's now watching over that and allows you to go ahead, find an earlier revision, restore it, or you can just download another copy to a flash drive for someone, whatever you want to do. So that's built-in version history to any Word, Excel, PowerPoint, or OneNote file you put into your SkyDrive account. Pretty darn neat, if you ask me. Okay. And we went over live collaboration already, so I'm not going to show that again. One last thing I want to show is Office on Demand. So this is a sort of hybrid. This is a hybrid of the subscription model of Office. So if you get Office 365 Home Premium, you have access to Office on Demand. And this is not exactly a version of Office you install on your computer, because you can get this on any computer that you may sit down on, any Windows 7 or Windows 8 machine. If it doesn't have Office and you need the full power of real Word, real Excel, you can go ahead and launch it for yourself from that computer on the fly. And I'm going to simulate this just to show you how it works. I'm going to open up this over here. Where's my... I have a virtual system that I pre-set up. Where's my virtual box? Here we go. So this is a software that geeks like me use to go ahead and set up virtual systems on our computer where we can use as test beds. So I'm going into a instance of a computer that I just set up as a test environment, doesn't have Office installed on it. I just want to show you what Office on Demand looks like. So what I have running here, this is, it's called Server 2012. It's a version of Windows that we use to power businesses and things that you don't necessarily see on the front lines. So I was using this to test some things with a customer, but I'm going to use this actually to do Office on Demand, because this replicates a computer that I never had Office installed. I'm going to prove it to you. So let me log into my little test machine here. Okay. I'm at my desktop. There's nothing, nothing installed on here. And just to show you that it doesn't have Office, I'm going to go into the, let's close out of this here. I'm going to go into here. I'm going to type in Word. There's no Word installed except WordPad. There's no Excel, nothing like that. So I'm going to show you. I sat down on this machine. I got to open up a real copy of Word because I got to get something done. I know Word Web App can't do it. It's a little too restricted for me. So let me go back. I have a subscription to Office 365 Home Premium for myself. I'm going to go over to office.com. I'm going to sign myself in. Now I'm signing into my 365 for Business account, so it's a little different than what you'd see, but the end result's going to be the same. So I'm going to sign in here with my organizational account. Okay. I'm going to sign in here. I'm going to go to my Office on Demand area, and again, I'm not replicating that, but you will see how this works. I'm going to go into SkyDrive from here now. And remember, what I'm doing here is completely isolated from my regular laptop. It's in a quarantine, so to say. So I'm going to go to Office on Demand over here, and let's see what we want to launch today. I got to open up a copy of Excel on this machine. And I showed you that we didn't have any Excel loaded on here. I have a full copy of Excel I can work with and that loaded up within 5 seconds. And I can use this on any Windows 7 or Windows 8 computer in the world, no matter where you are, as long as you have internet and as long as you know your login to your Office 365 account. And you can share that login with your family members, so if they need to use a copy of Office at school or on the road and they don't have the full version, you can do that and quickly get access to full Excel. I mean, there's no jokes about it. That is, that's full Excel there. I can save the Excel file, but I didn't have to install it because when I quit out and I go back to the start screen, there's no Excel installed. It's gone as soon as I close out of it. There when I need it, gone when I don't. Same thing, open up Word. It'll stream a copy of Word for me on the fly. Tells me it's streaming, opens up, and I can start working in my document as soon as I get my blank document showing up here. So, pretty neat. I mean, most of the things you might want to do are fully possible within the Word web app, the Excel web app that I was showing you, but for those instances where you need the full power, where you got to do a mail merge, or you got to do a complex entry of multiple footnotes, which web app has a little issue with, you can have full access to complete full version of Office on the fly. So that comes with that $100 a year subscription to Office, and everyone in your family can use that off your account. So pretty neat. Let's go back to our Q&A sheet. We have 10 minutes left over here. I want to open up my Q&A document. Let's go back into SkyDrive, find that document that we had a few questions within, and I'll answer those that people dumped in for us. So let's go to Office 2013 class. Let's go to our questions survey and see what everyone had to say here. All right, we got 3 questions here, and of course I'll entertain any more that come up. Is using the cloud really safe? The cloud by nature is very safe. It's how people go about leveraging it that is not. Having passwords that are not very secure. And if you come to our security class that we did, it's up on our YouTube channel. We show everyone how bad these common passwords are that people are using today, how quickly it is to break into these accounts. So it's people's fault that the cloud has this bad image, because by its nature, the cloud is pretty darn secure. The internet's been used for processing everything from Wall Street to credit card transactions to your personal email. Everyone in here has an AOL address or a Gmail address that you've been using. You've been using the cloud for so long. It's not like we don't trust it. We do a lot of things on it. Now we're just leveraging it for a few more things. And again, I think the security in here is pretty darn tight. We gave access to a shared file. Ruth, I took it away. You didn't have access anymore. So I think that's better security than giving out a flash drive to someone. And once that's given out, who knows how many copies of it were made. With SkyDrive and Office web apps, I give out permission and I take it back, and I know, unless someone went in and copied everything on me, which is possible with any digital document, but I have more control over this than I do a flash drive or a floppy disk I'm giving to someone and say, hey, don't make a copy of that, only work on the one copy that's there. You see what I'm saying? So the security is there, the restrictions are there. It's just people get sloppy with passwords, people get willy-nilly with things they open up to others, and what we showed off over here on the screen is no different than me giving out a flash drive to each of you so you can work on this document together. However, this makes it a lot more seamless and a lot easier for us. So yes, the cloud is really safe. It's just you have to make sure that you're browsing from a safe device with security protection on it. The belief that my computer can't get viruses no matter what you're using, you can't believe in that anymore. You have to make sure that you're using a safe device to access the web safely, and if you're doing so, the cloud will treat you well in return. Will I need to pay for Office every year? We answered that during the slides that I was going through earlier. If you choose the subscription model that I talked about, 365 Home Premium, you will pay every year, $100 a year. But the value in that, and I'll go back to that really quickly, I think there's a lot that they're giving you for that $100. I mean, you can go out and pay for the $140 boxed copy of Office, Home and Student, that goes on one system, but for only $100, I can put Professional Edition, which has every program on 5 computers. I have Office on Demand, which I can use. I get 27 gigabytes of my SkyDrive. I get 60 minutes of Skype calling minutes a month. Now, again, if some of these things don't matter to you, then that's up to you. But I think the value alone in the 5 copies of Office you get is well worth that $100 a year. Especially since it's always up to date and you're always getting the latest copy from Microsoft no matter what. If it's 2016 and there's a new version of Office, you get access to that on day one.
And that's the only way you can access the on-demand, right?
That's the only way you can access on demand. So the Office web apps that I was showing, that cool stuff in the web browser, that's free for everyone to use. Right. But if you want to use Office on demand to use full-blown Word, Excel, Access, PowerPoint, no matter what computer you're on, that you got to pay for the subscription for. Yeah, so that's a paid benefit. All right, let's go back to our web app here. What, if any, are my limitations being on a Mac and working with all PC users? To be honest, not that many. Office between Mac and PC is fairly compatible this day and age. There's not really that much of a difference, besides the fact that Mac users don't have the access, they don't have Publisher and some of the other higher-end apps available to them. But in terms of a basic Excel file, Word file, or working on web apps, if you're working on web apps and with a Mac user and Windows users, there's no difference at all. Everyone's accessing it through a web browser, and that creates the seamless experience that's the same on both sides.
So does that mean that I can use all of my work programs via SkyDrive on my Mac?
Yes.
I no longer need that.
Yes, you can install SkyDrive and you can do exactly what I was doing on your Mac system. In terms of editing Word and Excel files, things like that in your web browser. Yes, completely capable, no limitation behind that. Yes, go ahead.
I'm currently running XP
okay.
03. Excel in the
Yep, you're going to go extinct in a few months.
As you mentioned earlier, what am I going to do with the files? How compatible are my files?
100% compatible. 110% compatible. The new Office has no, as I said, the new Office has no issues.
Okay.
The newer versions of Office always support everything that came before it. So there's no question of compatibility. It's only when you go in reverse. New Office user working with an old Office user.
Okay.
And really even that's been alleviated since about 2007. Mm-hmm. 2007 and up are pretty seamless with one another. It's when you get the 2003 user working with the 2013 user. 2003 user is going to have a tough time. 2013 user is not going to have any issue.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only limitation. Any other questions about anything I showed off here today or anything I didn't show off here today? We've got a few minutes left. I got a few giveaways I want to give out to thank everyone for coming. Only 3 people are going to get giveaways, so I'll give those out in just a moment. But any final questions about SkyDrive? I really encourage you to go to Ruth's class. She's going to do the full-blown.
My class has been an introduction.
Introduction to SkyDrive. Okay.
Yeah. So for people to
have you been doing web apps in your class, or what have you been covering?
I gave some screenshots of how to do it and how to connect. And because right now, because I don't have a place to train, so the next step is to actually do things and show people how to use the basic Office tools.
There's a lot of cool stuff though in web apps to do. So, yes, go ahead.
Derrick, if we wanted a class, do you offer a class that's more dug into using the 3 programs amongst themselves, PowerPoint, Excel, and Word, combining them, using them within themselves?
Do I offer a class doing that? Yeah. I don't have anything publicly that we offer. If there's something that you'd want to customize and have us do a class with you personally or for your business, for a group of people, we do fully customized training for any kind of software that you're looking for. So yeah, something like that, we'd probably want to sit down and you tell me exactly, boom, 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 what it is you want to do, and we'll custom create a class just for you guys. That's probably the better way to do it. Because especially when you have certain needs and specific kind of things that you want to be shown, I mean, you can get someone sitting for 6 hours showing you all of Excel and you're never going to learn the things you specifically want to do. So that's the best approach for that. All right, I got a few giveaways. I brought these things here. I'm not taking them back home. I got three different items. I got 3 different shirts, and with the shirt you get a 20% off coupon for our services, and then there's a random doodad that comes with that as well. So I'm going to give away a Podio shirt. Podio is the class that Lindsay's going to be putting on another cloud piece of software in about a month or 2. Can someone tell me what's the full name of that device right there? This little tablet over here. Does anyone know?
This RT tablet.
You got it.
Thank you.
There you go. All right, I've got a little Office notepad, a Microsoft T-shirt, and another 20% off coupon. Who could tell me how much storage space you get if you get Office 365 Home Premium? How much do they give you?
7.
20 gigs. On the dot. The side of the room is really stealing all our giveaways here today. What are the only programs that have Office web apps available today? There's 4 of them. Only 4. Nobody knows. Excel.
PowerPoint, Word, and OneNote.
Access.
All right, I think everyone everyone chimed in on that one. How many box editions of the new Office are there?
Everybody did.
Well, they actually do make box.
They just don't have the DVDs.
Yes, yes. So how many of those? You guys are going to win too much over here. All right, we're going to do this. We're going to even this out a little bit.
Thank you.
There we go. All right, so that concludes our session. I thank everyone for coming out here today. I hope you learned something. I hope you can take something back for yourself. Even if you don't buy yourself a copy of the new Office, try out SkyDrive, give it a try. It's very neat functionality. It doesn't cost you a dime, and I think you're going to be able to leverage some of the neat aspects that the internet is introducing for us with these Office files. So enjoy, and if there are any final questions that anyone has that you want to ask me, I'll be tearing everything down for the next 5 or 10 minutes. So feel free to stay behind and talk to me one-on-one if you want to. Okay?
Thank you very much.
And come out to our other classes. We got a lot of other cool stuff we're going to be showing. Android tablets and Windows 8.1 and Google Apps for your work life. So come on out and join us for those other things. Should be a fun time.
I should have won that.
Yeah, we're not giving this away. This is for another customer.
No, the shirt.
Oh, the shirt.
Well, it's not a flash drive.
Did everyone get to try the tablet that wanted to? If you didn't get a chance to, you can definitely give it a try. All right.
Really